Hey everyone, welcome back. We always get a ton of questions about real estate and specifically how it intersects with the whole digital nomad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a hot topic. People want to know where to park their money, right? Especially if they're location independent.
For sure. So today we're going to dive into that, looking at some of the best cities for digital nomads to invest in property.
Nice. It's not just about finding a cool place to live for a few months. It's about potentially building long-term wealth, too.
Absolutely. And we've got a great source to guide us today. We're looking at this really interesting piece from Ocean Worldwide. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, they're a luxury real estate agency based in Phuket, right?
Exactly. Phuket, Thailand. And just so everyone's clear, it's Phuket, not Phuket. Super common mistake.
Yeah, I got to get that pronunciation right.
So Ocean Worldwide has been around since 2004, so they've seen a lot of changes in the market. They really focus on luxury residential real estate, mainly in Phuket and Koh Samui.
So they're dealing with a particular kind of investor then. Interesting.
Right. And that gives us a unique perspective on this whole trend. What does it mean to invest in property as a digital nomad, particularly at that higher end of the market?
Yeah, great point.
Our goal is to pull out the most important insights for you. Maybe you're actually thinking about buying property in a digital nomad hotspot, or maybe you're just curious about this whole thing.
Either way, there's a lot to unpack here.
So much. I mean, we're seeing this huge shift towards remote work. It's impacting everything, including how people think about real estate.
Right. Like, it used to be you'd buy a house near your job, settle down. Now, totally different.
People are way more mobile. They're working from anywhere. So why not invest in property in places that align with that lifestyle?
Exactly. And the Ocean Worldwide article kind of hits on all the angles.
Hmm.
Co-living, emerging markets, even luxury real estate.
Yep, we'll cover it all. From Southeast Asia to North America to Europe. There's something for everyone.
Let's jump in then.
Okay, so the article starts by talking about the rise of co-living spaces. Now, this is something we hear about a lot these days, but from an investment perspective, it's really interesting.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Well, for one, it shows us there's a real demand for this kind of flexible, community-driven living. Yeah. So if you're thinking about investing in property, that's something to keep in mind. What kind of rental properties are going to be attractive in certain areas?
Makes sense. So just for anyone who might not be totally familiar with the concept, what exactly are co-living spaces?
Basically, imagine an apartment building where everyone has their own private bedroom, but then there are these shared communal areas, like kitchens, living rooms, workspaces, even gyms sometimes.
Ah, okay, I get it. So it's all about community, built-in social life, perfect for someone new to a city.
Exactly. The article specifically calls out how popular these places are with digital nomads. You move to a new place, maybe you don't know anyone. This is an instant way to connect.
I've stayed in a few co-living places myself. It's a cool vibe, very international, lots of interesting conversations.
For sure. And from an investor's perspective, there are a few things to consider, like the lease terms are usually shorter, which can be a plus or a minus, right?
Yeah, more turnover, but maybe also more flexibility to adjust rents.
Exactly. And they often have this all-inclusive pricing model, which simplifies things for tenants. One monthly payment covered everything.
Easy peasy.
The article lists a bunch of cities that are known for their co-living scenes. Berlin, Barcelona, Bangkok, Lisbon, Bali, Chiang Mai, all very different places, but they share that appeal for digital nomads.
Each has its own unique vibe, right? Berlin, for example, super creative scene. Barcelona, beach life, amazing food. Bangkok, bustling, energy, night markets.
And it's not just about where you sleep at night, right?
Yeah.
It's about the whole lifestyle those cities offer.
Yeah,
Co-working spaces, cafes, events, that digital nomad community.
a whole ecosystem.
Which brings us to the next point the article makes, the integration of co-working and co-living. So we're seeing more and more developers actually building co-working spaces right into these co-living buildings.
Oh, wow, that's smart. Makes total sense for digital nomads.
Right. It's super convenient. Your commute is literally an elevator ride. And it kind of reinforces that sense of community. You're living and working with like-minded people.
So if you're looking to invest, a property that offers that integrated setup could be a real winner.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it's got all the right features. High-speed internet is a must-have, obviously.
Mm.
Quiet zones for focused work. Maybe some communal areas for brainstorming or meetings.
Makes you want to move in yourself, right?
Right. The article specifically mentions Lisbon and Bali as being kind of ahead of the curve on this trend, which makes sense. Both places have that relaxed work-life balance vibe.
They've figured out that digital nomads are not just looking for a place to work, they're looking for a whole lifestyle.
Exactly. So the article summarizes it like this. Flexible contracts, community events, super fast internet, ergonomic workspaces. These are the things digital nomads want.
So investors take note.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about affordability. This is a big one for a lot of digital nomads, and Southeast Asia is often seen as the ultimate budget-friendly destination.
I mean, it's true. The cost of living in Southeast Asia is significantly lower than in a lot of other parts of the world.
Like, drastically different. The article actually has this cost comparison table. It shows, like, rent, meals, transportation in cities like London versus Chiang Mai or Ho Chi Minh City.
Ooh, I bet that's a stark difference.
Yeah, you can save a ton of money. And that extra cash could go towards, investments or travel or just having more fun.
Plus, a lot of these places have great weather year-round. Who wouldn't want to be in the sunshine?
True. And the internet infrastructure in Southeast Asia has improved so much in recent years. You can find reliable Wi-Fi pretty much everywhere.
So you can work from a beach in Bali, no problem.
Exactly. The article highlights a few popular destinations in Southeast Asia. Chiang Mai, Ho Chi Minh City, Bali. All very different, each with their own unique character.
Yeah, let's break this down a bit. Chiang Mai, it's like super chill, right? Temples, nature, relaxed pace of life.
Yep, and it's becoming increasingly popular with digital nomads. The article mentions that a lot of them are actually buying property there.
So maybe a good long-term investment opportunity. What about Ho Chi Minh City?
Ho Chi Minh City is more bustling, more of a city vibe, amazing food scene, lots of energy. And then Bali, of course, is all about beaches, surfing, yoga.
The classic digital nomad paradise.
Right. And what's interesting is in all these places, you can find really modern, nice condominiums. So it's not just about like basic accommodations anymore.
You can have a really comfortable, even luxurious lifestyle in Southeast Asia for a fraction of the cost.
Exactly. And the article specifically talks about Thailand, particularly Chiang Mai, as a hotspot for digital nomads looking to buy property.
I could see that. So are prices still pretty affordable there?
Relatively, yeah. I mean, they've gone up a bit in recent years, but it's still way more affordable than, say, buying a condo in London or New York.
That makes sense. And the Thai government has those visa programs, right, to attract remote workers.
Yeah, that's a big factor. It gives people more stability, more confidence to maybe put down roots. And from an investor's perspective, that's good news. It suggests that the demand for property in Thailand, especially in places like Chiang Mai, is likely to keep growing.
So you could potentially make money both from renting out the property and from the property value increasing over time.
Right. Now, it's not just about Southeast Asia. The article points out that North America is also seeing a growing number of digital nomads settling in urban hubs.
Interesting. So what kind of cities are we talking about here?
Places like Austin, Montreal, Denver. Each city has its own draw. Austin is known for its tech scene, its music scene, kind of a cool, quirky vibe. Montreal has a bit more of a European feel. It's more affordable than some other Canadian cities, and it has a thriving arts and culture scene. And then Denver is great for people who love the outdoors. You've got the mountains right there, but you've also got a vibrant city life.
So it's not just about the low cost of living, it's about finding a city that fits your lifestyle, your interests.
Exactly. And from an investment perspective, these cities offer different kinds of opportunities. You could look into short-term rentals like Airbnb, maybe working with local agencies, or you could invest in co-living spaces, which are becoming increasingly popular in North America too.
Or if you're thinking more long-term, you could look at buying an apartment or a house in a neighborhood that's popular with digital nomads, with the intention of renting it out.
Right. And as the article points out, these cities aren't just about work. They have a lot to offer in terms of culture and entertainment, museums, music venues, great restaurants.
So you can enjoy the city even when you're not working, which, let's be honest, is a big part of the appeal of being a digital nomad.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about having a balanced lifestyle, a good quality of life. Okay, let's move on to Europe. Europe has always been a popular destination, but it's got this special appeal for digital nomads.
What do you think it is about Europe that draws people in?
I think it's the history, the culture. These cities have so much to offer. Imagine living and working in Rome, surrounded by ancient ruins, or Prague with its stunning architecture.
It's like living in a museum, but a really cool, vibrant museum.
And while some European cities can be expensive, the article highlights a few that are actually quite affordable. Places like Lisbon, Budapest, Valencia. You can find shared apartments, studios, even small apartments for a reasonable price.
You can still enjoy that European lifestyle without breaking the bank.
Exactly. And these cities also have thriving digital nomad communities, which is a huge plus. You've got people to connect with, share tips, maybe even collaborate on projects.
It's like a built-in support network.
Right. And then there's just this slower pace of life in a lot of European cities. People take time to enjoy their coffee, to stroll through the park, to have a long lunch. It's a different way of living.
Yeah, I could see that being really appealing to someone who's used to the hustle and bustle of like Silicon Valley or New York.
Totally. And the article gives us some concrete numbers to compare. It shows the average monthly rent and the price of a cup of coffee in Lisbon, Budapest, and Valencia.
Interesting. So you can really get a sense of what your daily expenses might look like.
Yep. And it also highlights why digital nomads are choosing these cultural capitals. It's not just about the affordability, it's about the rich history, the community support, the good transport links. All of that contributes to a good quality of life.
It sounds like Europe has something to offer everyone, really.
It does.
Yep.
Now, for those who are a little more adventurous, the article talks about locations that combine outdoor activities with remote work.
This is where it gets really exciting. I mean, who wouldn't want to ski in the morning and then work from a cozy cabin in the afternoon?
Right. Or hike through the mountains all day and then catch up on emails in the evening. The article gives examples of places where you can do all that. Ski resorts, mountain towns, coastal towns with great surfing.
So it's all about finding that balance between work and adventure, preventing burnout, staying inspired.
Exactly. And if you're thinking about investing in property in one of these places, there are a few things to keep in mind. Like, what's the long-term rental potential? Are there good amenities nearby? What's the community vibe like? How strong is the local economy?
You'd want to make sure there's enough demand for rentals, even during the off-season.
Right. Now, a big development that's making it easier for digital nomads to live and work abroad is the rise of remote work visas.
Oh, yeah. These are game changers.
They really are. Countries are realizing that digital nomads can bring a lot of economic benefits, and they're creating visa programs specifically to attract them.
I've heard a few of these, like the Digital Nomad Visa in Estonia or the one in Georgia.
Exactly. Croatia has one too. And more countries are jumping on board. It's making it so much easier for people to live and work legally in different parts of the world.
So what does that mean for investors?
Well, it means that there's going to be more demand for housing in these countries, both short-term and long-term rentals. So it might be worth researching which countries have attractive remote work visa programs and seeing what their real estate markets look like.
No.
And for digital nomads themselves, these visas offer a lot of benefits. Legal certainty, access to local services, maybe even tax advantages. It makes it easier to settle in, to really become part of the community.
It removes a lot of the stress and uncertainty of living abroad.
Exactly. And that stability could make them more likely to stay in a place longer, maybe even consider buying property.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, the article talks about sustainability. This is something that's becoming increasingly important to digital nomads.
Yeah, people are more aware of their impact on the planet. Right. And they're looking for eco-friendly housing options. So think about features like solar panels, energy-efficient appliances, water conservation systems, maybe even using reclaimed materials in the construction.
So investors could appeal to this market by building or renovating properties with sustainability in mind.
Exactly. It goes beyond just the physical building. It's also about things like supporting local businesses, maybe even getting involved in community initiatives.
Yeah, giving back, making a positive impact.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, the article also talks about luxury real estate for digital nomads.
That's interesting. So we're not just talking about budget-conscious travelers anymore.
Nope. There's a whole segment of digital nomads who are doing really well financially. Entrepreneurs, consultants, high-earning freelancers. And they're looking for high-end properties with all the bells and whistles.
So, like, what kind of features are we talking about?
Think fast internet, dedicated workspaces, smart home technology, top-of-the-line appliances, maybe even a private pool or a rooftop terrace.
Sounds pretty nice.
It is. And the article mentions cities like Dubai, Singapore, and yes, even Phuket, as seeing increased demand for this type of luxury residence.
So if you've got the capital, this could be a really interesting investment opportunity.
Potentially, yeah. You'd need to be strategic about location, make sure the property has all the right amenities, and maybe work with a property management company to handle the rentals.
Especially if you're targeting the short-term rental market.
Exactly. Okay, now, for the really exciting part, emerging markets. These are the up-and-coming destinations that are starting to gain popularity with Digital Nomads.
Ooh, I love discovering hidden gems. So where should we be looking?
The article mentions a few places: Medellin in Colombia, Tbilisi in Georgia, Da Nang in Vietnam, Mexico City, and Budapest.
I've heard good things about Medellin. Really vibrant culture, affordable, and they've invested a lot in infrastructure.
Yep. Tbilisi is also interesting. It's kind of this blend of European and Asian influences. They have a really good visa policy for digital nomads, and the tech scene is growing.
And Da Nang, I've heard it's got beautiful beaches.
It does. And it's still relatively affordable, especially compared to some of the more established beach destinations in Southeast Asia. Mexico City is known for its incredible food scene and its strong sense of community. And Budapest, of course, has that rich history and those stunning buildings.
It sounds like there are so many exciting options out there.
There really are. And for investors, these emerging markets can offer great potential. Property prices are often lower, but the rental demand is growing as more digital nomads discover these places.
So you could get in on the ground floor, so to speak.
Exactly. But as the article cautions, you need to do your research. Understand the local market, the regulations, the infrastructure.
Don't just jump in blindly.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk to local experts, maybe even visit the place yourself before you make any big decisions.
Makes sense. You mentioned beachfront land in Natai, Thailand earlier. That sounds like a more luxurious option to consider.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Natai is a beautiful area with those pristine beaches and a more laid-back vibe than some of the busier tourist spots.
I could see that being appealing to someone who wants to escape the crowds and enjoy a bit more privacy.
Definitely. Okay, let's circle back to Chiang Mai for a moment. The article goes into a bit more detail about why this city is such a magnet for digital nomads.
I mean, we've touched on a few of the reasons, but it's always good to get a more in-depth perspective.
Right. So the abundance of co-working spaces and cafes with reliable Wi-Fi is a big draw.
Essential for digital nomads.
And the property prices are still relatively affordable, especially compared to many Western countries. The article gives some average price ranges for condos and houses, which gives you a rough idea of what to expect.
Helpful for anyone who's seriously considering investing.
And then there's just this incredible sense of community in Chiang Mai.
Mm-hmm.
People are friendly, welcoming, and there are so many events and activities going on.
Yeah, that sense of belonging is so important, especially when you're living far from home.
And it's not just about the affordability or the community. Chiang Mai also offers this really appealing lifestyle. People are into healthy living, yoga, meditation. There are beautiful temples to explore, nature all around.
It's like the perfect blend of city life and nature.
It is. And if you're looking for a bit more luxury, you can definitely find that in Chiang Mai, too. There are upscale condos, beautiful villas, even some really nice resorts that cater to long-term stays.
So there's something for everyone.
Exactly. So wrapping it all up, I think what we've learned from this deep dive, guided by the insights from Ocean Worldwide and Phuket, is that the best cities for digital nomads to invest in property are those that offer a combination of affordability, good connectivity, and a strong sense of community.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you can live comfortably, work effectively, and feel like you belong.
And as this whole trend of remote work keeps growing, we're going to see more and more cities around the world catering to this mobile workforce.
It's an exciting time to be a digital nomad.
It really is. We've talked about so many different options today, from cultural hubs like Lisbon and Budapest, to adventure destinations like those ski resorts and mountain towns, to emerging markets like Medellin and Tbilisi.
And then, of course, those more established digital nomad havens like Chiang Mai and Phuket.
Right. And ultimately, the ideal location for you as a potential investor depends on your individual budget and your lifestyle preferences.
Do you want a bustling city or a quiet beach town? Do you prioritize nightlife or nature? Do you need to be in a specific time zone for work?
Right. There are so many factors to consider. So here's a final thought for you. Beyond just the financial aspect, what kind of place truly resonates with your nomadic spirit? What kind of investment would not only make sense financially, but also enrich your life and offer you those unique experiences that come with living in a new and exciting part of the world?
It's not just about buying a property, it's about investing in a lifestyle, in a community, in an adventure.
So do your research, explore your options, and find the perfect place to call home, even if it's just for a little while.
Happy travels.
And happy investing.